Hey guys, today's video is going to be called Is She Bipolar or Is She BPD? This is actually a special request from one of my viewers. So I'll go ahead and say hi, shout out to you for the idea. It's like 11 o'clock at night where I am, so I kind of did some research on this subject before I tried to do the video. But basically, the problem with identifying whether the person in your life, let's say we'll call it a woman, um, whether she has bipolar, whether she has BPD. Hopefully she'll see some counselors and some psychiatrists or whatnot and figure out what exactly it is. Because obviously, like me, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really diagnose people. So I kind of just go on, my history of schooling, and I did some research tonight on this video. Um, but anyway, to make a long story short, guys, people that have BPD or borderline personality disorder, they can actually have bipolar disorder as a comorbid illness, which means they can actually have bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder at the same time, as well as it being comorbid with other mental illnesses, like anxiety, depression, things like that. Um, they say it's more common to have one or the other. So it's less common to have both, but more common to either be a bipolar individual or be an individual that has BPD. Um, they say that even people that are bipolar, that are in remission, 30 to 40% of people that are bipolar that start to lose those symptoms of bipolar and start to go into remission of bipolar, 30 to 40% of those individuals still show signs and traits of borderline personality disorder. Um, the symptoms can be confusing because they're both similar yet different. Um, let's see here. BPD, let's talk about some of the symptoms of BPD. Um, Avoiding abandonment. So a lot of their decisions can be around that. So if they're dating an individual, let's say things start to get rocky, they may break up with the person out of fear of abandonment. If they see some trouble on the horizon, they may the borderline woman may say, "This guy's about to break up with me, so I need to break up with him first," because they're worried about that abandonment feeling. Um, 10 to 20% of individuals have both bipolar and BPD together. So that would be 2 out of 10 individuals have both bipolar and BPD. Um, quick, quick talk about some of the symptoms of BPD. Again, that's avoiding abandonment, impulsive behaviors in a lot of different sectors, impulsive with sex, impulsive with driving, impulsive with decisions, impulsive with people in their lives. Um, BPD people can have chronic feelings of emptiness. Happens a lot. Paranoid ideation. A person with BPD can become paranoid. Unstable relationship pattern is a huge thing with BPD. Um, that's one red flag. If you're having major relationship difficulties with your partner, say it's a woman in this case, um, it could be a sign that maybe she has BPD, because BPD individuals have a really hard time with relationships and thus giving them an unstable relationship pattern. People with BPD can experience suicidal behavior and suicidal threats. I have a BPD friend. She called me one time and said she was suicidal, said that she should just kill herself. I told her that me and her family love her and she shouldn't do that, and she didn't end up doing it. But BPD individuals can have intense anger, as well as bipolar. So that can be one confusion in your mind now, because people that are bipolar can go into intense anger, and people that are BPD can go into intense anger. Um, People that have BPD have trouble knowing who they are. It's called identity disturbance. That's where we see a lot of the, different colored hair. One week they're red hair, the next week they're green hair. I know a borderline individual from week to week doesn't know whether she's straight, whether she's gay. That would be an example of identity. People that are BPD have a hard time understanding who they are as a person. BPD individuals, like I said, they can be very impulsive. Um, Both bipolar and BPD, you're going to see the emotional dysregulation. which means they may wake up in a really great mood. This is someone with bipolar or BPD. They may wake up in a great mood, and then by noon, they're screaming at you, throwing you out of the house. So that would be an example of emotional dysregulation where, they might be happy and then 5 minutes later they're mad. So it can be that chemical imbalance in the brain that's causing these mood shifts, especially in bipolar. Difficulty controlling anger. You see that with both bipolar and you also see it with BPD. BPD individuals experience severe disassociation, mostly with the BPD. So they can disassociate and kind of just go out in the left field for hours at a time. Um, but that can also somewhat happen with bipolar, where they can get into their own world. That disassociation where, let's say they like to design stuff, they may spend 12 hours designing stuff, and that would be an example of kind of tuning out from the world, right? That disassociation. Um, Bipolar, let's talk about some of those symptoms real quick. Bipolar has a lot of depression, a lot of manic symptoms, or what they would call mania. Um, Prolonged periods of sadness for bipolar, feelings of worthlessness, anger, crying for no obvious reason, social withdrawal, irritability. Uh, but with bipolar, you're going to see the manic symptoms or bipolar mania. You're going to see that rapid speech, lots of energy, irritability, not sleeping, difficulty concentrating, goal directedness. You're going to see that with the bipolar. When they're in the manic cycle, goal directedness, irritability, not sleeping. Um, and then like when it comes to therapy, when you have the person in front of you or even your friend in front of you that's crying, that's either BPD or bipolar, the BPD person is going to most likely be able to give you a reason why they're upset. They're going to say, I'm crying because Jimmy screwed me over, or I'm crying because I didn't get my discount at Subway. Whereas somebody with bipolar, they may be crying in front of you and really not understand where those feelings are coming from. With that bipolar, that chemical imbalance is just so intense. It goes from the highs to lows, and the person isn't in control of it. You got bipolar 1, and you also have bipolar type 2. So the bipolar type 2, you're going to see more depression. With bipolar 1, you're going to see that extreme shift between manic cycles and depression. And those manic episodes can be they can be scary. Um, some people actually say they like the manic cycles because they love that high energy feeling. They love that intense feeling of energy and goal directness. Um, let's see here. So anyway, one way you can tell the difference between the BPD and the bipolar is those manic symptoms. The mania, you're not going to see that mania in the borderline personality individual. So if you're wondering, are they bipolar or BPD? Do they have manic symptoms? Are they up all night for days on it? People that are manic, a bipolar person in a manic cycle can literally be up all night. Maybe can't sleep all night. They might be up for days, a couple days. It doesn't have to be complete non-sleep. But let's say for 3 or 4 days they're having trouble sleeping. They're up all night. You go visit them. It's 4 in the morning. They're up playing video games. So that's one way that you can easily tell if the person is BPD, borderline personality, or bipolar, is those manic symptoms. You know, that the mania is just intense with a bipolar person. You're going to see that rapid speech. You're going to, they're going to be talking like this. And, hey, do you think we could, go shopping today? And I really want to, go do laundry. And it's that pressured speech. You're going to see that in the bipolar manic cycle. You're not going to see that as much with the BPD. BPD individuals don't actually experience that mania, only in bipolar. So that's one of the major differences is the mania. So if you see someone, if they're going into manic cycles, then you know that they're most likely not BPD. But keep in mind, they can have BPD and bipolar at the same exact time as a commingled illnesses together. They can have both at the same time. The frantic efforts to avoid abandonment, you're not going to see that much with bipolar, where you're going to see it a lot with BPD. Give you a quick example of someone trying to avoid abandonment. I had a girl next door I was dating, and we were going through a rough time, BPD rough relationship. And one morning she's literally walking off the porch, and she's got this guy that was trying to date her literally walking behind her, and she's running over to my building that was connected and banging on my door crying, trying to get me to not abandon her. Do you see the fear of abandonment? She's banging on my door because she's worried she's going to lose me. But at the same time, BPD can be commingled with that antisocial personality disorder where they can literally go the other shifting way and not care if they lose the person. So it can really go either way. But the mania is the biggest difference, where you're going to see a lot of the manic symptoms with the bipolar person, but you're not going to see those manic symptoms in the borderline personality individual. Um, you're going to see a lot of euphoria with a person with bipolar. A lot of people that are in bipolar mania, they can describe it as they feel like they're high on life or feel like they're high on drugs. That euphoric feeling in mania. You're not going to get that in BPD. You're not going to get those extreme fluctuations of mania down to depression, mania down to depression. That's going to be mostly a bipolar thing. Um, 50 to 80% of people that have BPD, 50 to 80% of people that have BPD, they have trauma history. That's going to be lower with bipolar. People are less likely to have traumatic histories with bipolar, but more likely to have traumatic histories with borderline personality disorder. So to answer your question, so we can wrap up this video tonight, the main difference between borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorders is those manic symptoms. So if you can really do some research on the manic symptoms, then you're going to understand what the difference is. But at the same time, keep in mind that they can have the borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorders together. They can have both at the same time, but that is not, it's more likely to happen where they have one or the other. That's more common. If you guys like this mental health video, you can subscribe. You can like this video, share it with a friend. I do videos all over the place, guys. I do selling videos. I do karaoke. I do mental health videos. I'm going to leave some merch in the description if you guys want to check out some of my merch. I'm also a designer on Amazon where I design t-shirts and stuff, so you'll be able to check those items out. But don't forget to subscribe, like the video. I hope you guys get some rest tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day for new opportunities, new friendships, maybe a new job. Maybe you meet somebody that you didn't think you'd meet. Maybe you'll meet a loving partner, someone that you've never met tomorrow. So a new day can bring a lot of new opportunities, right? We just need to keep our attitudes positive and keep things going in a positive direction, right? Because we all know depression really does not help anything. So if we can count our blessings, that's how we start getting our mind moving in the right direction. One time I heard someone say, I don't have to go to work today. I get to go to work today. And that's a great way of wording it, because that's the person saying, yes, I have to go to work, but thank God I have legs where I can walk to work, or thank God I have a car I can, drive to work. So it's remaining thankful that is all the difference, right, guys? But we're going to go ahead and wrap today's video on borderline versus bipolar. Maybe we could do another video in the future on this topic, but that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out my merch in the description. I got to get some groceries this week. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good one.